So today our target is to finish up the rest of the charts which were pending. In the last class, we had worked on the line chart, bar chart, histogram, isn't it? So today we work with the next two set of charts, the major ones which are to be done. One is your pie and the other one is the scatter. Okay, so let's start with the first one, which is the pie chart. Now, we all understand that a pie chart is basically something where you are trying to project something out of 100, isn't it? Overall, we say one slice. So that is the main significance of a pie chart. It's definitely a circular graph, and we are trying to present one slice, I mean, slices of the whole, isn't it? It's a portion of the total percentage, which is like 100%. From that, we are presenting the rest of the thing. So we are aware of that. And even if I don't provide the data in the percentage form, it is able to convert it into a percentage form and display it to me. Okay. Now we understand that this particular import statement is very important for the plot. So import matplotlib dot pyplot, matplotlib being the library and pyplot being the module in that. We are going to execute a
Excuse me,
function.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it says that you have paused your screen sharing, so I cannot see whether you have shared or not the screen.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. That's great. So I go back. I was saying that we are doing the pie charts today, right? And this is how a pie chart actually looks like. We are trying to have the portion or proportion from a whole. That is 100% thing. And from there, we try to present the portions. That's the basic understanding of a pie chart, right? You can see here, I've given you one example. So there are different pies, I mean, different portions of the entire circle, which has been presented by different colors, and hence you have the representation. Okay. Now, as you see this first example, you'll find that this is the most important thing again, the library matplotlib, and within that the module pyplot. So this is important to be done. Without that, we cannot really run the functions of pyplot, right? And keeping it very, very simple, I've taken the data as your 15, 40, 35, 10. Now, I think I have given you a data which is totaling up to 100. So that's a direct 15%, 40%, 35%, 10%. Even if you give something which is not totaling to 100 or it is more than 100 values, it is converted to percentage by the machine itself. You really don't have to bother. Okay, so you've given him the data, and then I also give him the labels that has to be in a sequence. So it corresponds. So 15 for him is black tea, and 40 for him is milk tea, and 35 for him is coffee, and 10% is green tea. So that sequence, of course, he will maintain, and then we present it. So the basic thing what is required for the pie chart is, of course, the pie function, plt.pie, and then comes the data. So what exactly is the data which he has to use to present the percentages? Then we give the labels. Okay. Now here I have stored the labels already in a list separately, or I could have just given that list here also. Labels is that parameter name, data is the variable name. I'm not writing any parameter name for putting the data. Directly the very first element what you give him is the data itself. So after that, we give him the labels, what all labels you want him to show. Otherwise, it will not look complete. Okay. So that much part becomes like a compulsory thing for us. This much we should tell, I mean, give him or provide him to display the chart to me. And then there's one extra feature I've shown in this example, that is shadow. So the shadow, if you see, is something like this. Can you see that? This part. So this nothing else, but it just gives you a 3D kind of an effect. Okay. So shadow is given a true value, a Boolean value. So if you give it, it'll appear like that, or else it'll be a normal 2D circle. So no base to it, kind of a thing. So this gives you a little kind, a 3D kind of an effect. That's again for beautification, nothing else. Okay. Now you see that the colors again have been picked up by him automatically. I have not really given him any colors, right? We have done the charts earlier also, and we have seen that the first color what it picks up is blue by default. So you can see that the black tea being the first element that has been picked up as blue. Okay, then comes orange, then comes green, then comes red. That is the sequence of its default color setup. We want to change the color. We have ways to change the color that I'll show you in the next example. But again, we remind ourselves that plt.show is very important. Otherwise, nothing appears. I've not put those X label, Y label, and titles and everything because that you are aware of. Of course, that is all significant as such. I mean, the title here, there's no X, Y labels here, but as and wherever it is important, you will put it. Okay, so that is how I give a simple pie graph and the pie chart. The function is also simple. So we've seen that with plt.plot, I get line graph. With plt.bar, I get bar graph. Plt.hist, I'm getting hist function is for your histogram. Pi function is for your pie chart. Okay. What input you give depends upon, of course, the category of chart you're doing. Like for histogram, it will be data as well as the frequency or the class interval or the bins as we call it. है ना इस तरीके से the parameters definitely matter change. Now here again we have tried to add our own colors. So another example, same data, absolutely rest of the things are same. I've added two things here. One is my own set of colors, which are black, pink, blue, and green. Now, what I wanted to show you here was that the colors can be given as proper text also. Now, you definitely have to see from the lists which you can get as appendix anywhere that what colors it supports. Now, hot pink is something which is like I also never knew that there's something called as hot pink color, but yes, it is there. And then you have the hexadecimal codes also which you can use. This is a kind of hexadecimal code, and this is the short form of it, abbreviation. So all are permissible. That's what I want to say. So you can give the whole name, you can give the abbreviation also, and you can give the hexadecimal code also. Okay, it's going to pick up the colors accordingly. Of course, we don't try to memorize the codes or the, I mean, abbreviations also as such, because they are available whenever we need to use it, we can check them out. Okay, there's no need to remember that as such. Because it's not compulsory to specify it, I can obviously pick up the default setup too. So here now again, the same story follows. We have the data followed by the labels, followed by the shadow, and followed by colors. So here the next parameter which we are seeing is the colors. So colors is equal to the variable name which has a list of colors. I could have put it here also, and I've kept it here, whichever way you want. Okay. Now I use the term hexadecimal code. Some of you must be knowing it. But if not, basically what happens is, when you see 0 to 9 followed by A, B, C, D, E, F and a few symbols, that coding mechanism is called hexadecimal coding mechanism. Actually, hexadecimal supports 16 digits. ठीक है जैसे हमारे डेसिमल सिस्टम नंबर सिस्टम में मैथमेटिक्स में वी आर फॉलोइंग 0 to 9 द इंटायर मैथ्स इज मेड ऑफ these digits. सारे numbers are made of these digits and these are 10 digits, hence decimal. Okay, so the basic mechanisms here which we talk about is binary system. Binary means bi means two, है ना? So 0 and 1, two inputs possible. So your entire machine digital setup is made up with these binary coding system. सब कुछ अल्टीमेटली जाके 0 और 1 में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है। ठीक है ना? बाइनरी मीन्स 2, सो 0 and 1. देन कम्स योर octal. To have bigger number systems for us, we have developed these setups. So octal may they support 8. So it is 0 to 7. Fine. So your number which you're representing, converting from a normal, for a normal character or for a normal value, that can have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then comes your hexadecimal. डेसिमल नंबर सिस्टम इज आर नंबर सिस्टम। डेसिमल नंबर सिस्टम के अंदर हम लोग 0 to 9 यूज कर सकते हैं करते हैं, इसीलिए वी कॉल इट डेसिमल। डेक इज 10 ना, सो दैट वे। एंड हेक्साडेसिमल नंबर सिस्टम के अंदर यू विल फाइंड, यू कैन सी नो एफ, ए, सी। सो इसमें अप टू ए बी सी डी ई एफ, या 6 more characters, so 0 to 9 followed by ए बी सी डी ई एफ, 0 to F करके 16 कैरेक्टर सेट आपको दिया है। द होल I mean, representation is with this hexadecimal number set of 16 values. ठीक है? So that is how when you find these kind of numbers, you know that these are hexadecimal numbers. ठीक है? Fine. So this was one thing. Second is the safe figure. I don't remember whether we did the safe figure or not last time, but yes, this is also an important function because this output comes in the form of a different window. Right. So your Python is giving you the option to save this file so that you can use it for your presentations or things like that later anywhere. So that is why you have to give him the location where you want to store it. Instead of single slash, it's important to put a double slash. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, the path is not picked up. And the name of the file. So this output, what it has generated, will be saved by the name figure3 and as a JPEG file. Okay. सेव हो गया, वो परमानेंटली सेव हो गया, तो उसके बाद उसको कहीं पे भी यूज कर सकते हैं। एंड देन कम्स योर शो। So show is definitely there, otherwise the output will not come. Right? So we have added the data, we have added the labels, we have added the shadow, and we have added our own colors. Now there's one more interesting variation which makes it definitely look better. That is, I may give edge color, and I may also define the thickness of this edge for every slice. So it makes it more prominent, nothing else. And one more thing we can do, that is we can make one slice or two slices, pop out. कुछ आपको different दिखाना है कि okay, this, I mean, not different, I would say. You want to highlight a particular slice. So you may do that with this particular option. अब इसको करते कैसे? So we have the data and we have given the labels. Okay. Then we have taken a variable called as W. Now we have not learned dictionaries actually. I had started up with the other things post Python lists, isn't it? So now, if I go back to give you a little background about this, we will do it. We have to do this dictionaries also. But as of now, we have not done that. Now, dictionaries are also a kind of data type for Python. ठीक है? जैसे list है. So सॉरी, लिस्ट है, वैसे ही डिक्शनरीज भी है। इन दोनों में एक मेजर बेसिक डिफरेंस जो है, देयर आर अदर डिफरेंसेस आल्सो, नॉट रियली टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, दैट इन द केस ऑफ लिस्ट्स you all will understand that they have the positional values which are by default. So black tea has a positional value of 0 as well as -4. Backside से जाओ तो -4, front से शुरू करो तो 0. And these are predefined. I cannot change it. ठीक है? In contrary to that, they are giving you a data structure which is called as a dictionary. And you can see the symbol being used here is curly braces as compared to square brackets here. So another difference comes out. And here the point is that it is giving you an option to create your own index or key by which you can fetch the data later. अब वो 0, 1, 2 या -1, -2, -3 जो list का है वो क्या है? We are just using that to fetch our data. है ना, क्योंकि उस पूरे डेटा स्ट्रक्चर का नाम टी है। अब टी के अंदर मुझे अगर कॉफी को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, इस डेटा को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, तो मुझे कुछ तरीका चाहिए। वो तरीका क्या है, उसका इंडेक्स वैल्यू दो, वो निकाल देगा आपको, है ना। सिमिलरली फॉर द डिक्शनरी ऑल्सो आई एम स्टोरिंग मल्टीपल डेटाज हियर। एक्सट्रैक्ट कैसे करेंगे? ऑफ कोर्स विद समथिंग यूनिक, एंड व्हाट इज दैट यूनिक इज दिस की। Okay, so this structure is called as the, I mean, it is referred to as the key value pairs. अब इसमें key क्या है और value क्या है? Your this is the first part which is the key, and the second part is the value. Okay, and this is a colon symbol which we are using into differentiate between the two. So it is like key colon value, comma key colon value. अब मुझे अगर ब्लैक को रेफर करना है, मुझे ब्लैक को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है फॉर सम रीजन, आई विल हैव टू आस्क हिम दैट गिव मी द वैल्यू फॉर एज कलर, तो वो ब्लैक निकाल के दे देगा। आई एम सेइंग गिव मी द वैल्यू फॉर लाइन विड्थ, तो वो 3 निकाल के दे देगा। हियर द डिफॉल्ट इंडेक्सेस डोंट वर्क। इट्स जस्ट अनदर वे ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एंड गिविंग यू सर्टन एडवांटेज, राइट। यहाँ पे हम कुछ भी दे सकते हैं। आई कैन हैव अ न्यूमेरिक की ऑल्सो। जैसे ताले, हर ताले की अलग अलग चाबी है ना, फ्रॉम देयर दे हैव पिक्ड अप दिस कॉन्सेप्ट दैट दिस इज माय ताला, एंड टू गेट टू दिस ताला आई नीड दिस चाबी। दिस इज okay, so key, this is the key, and the value is this. To get this value I need this key. So when I will ask him कि मुझे एच कलर निकाल के दो डब्ल्यू में से, तो वो मुझे ब्लैक निकाल के देगा। ठीक है, तो दिस इज अ फॉर्मेट फॉर योर डिक्शनरीज। अब यहाँ पे हम एक स्पेसिफिकेशन लेते हैं, विच इज दैट आई एम गिविंग हिम सर्टेन वैल्यूज कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग टू द slices, which is one is edge color, and you can see that I've given black, hence your edge colors are coming as to be black. And the width also is given a number. So this is the thickness of the edge. Okay, of course not compulsory. We've seen that the pie works perfectly fine without that too, but this is an extra formatting you may do. So black is the color and line width is 3. अब वो 1 आप लगा लो कि बेस है, देन 2 3 4 5, इस तरीके से वो थिकनेस बढ़ती जाएगी, द नंबर। द वैल्यू अगेन डजंट कम इन कोट्स अनटिल अनलेस इट इज अ स्ट्रिंग वैल्यू। ये नंबर है तो कोट्स की जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, सो इस फॉर्मेट में मैंने ये दो इनपुट्स ले लिए, स्पेसिफाई कर दिया उसको, और एंड वी आर वर्किंग विद दीज थिंग्स, वी कैन हैव इट specified separately so that my command line doesn't become very huge. Like जब हम ये मेंशन करेंगे तो ये पूरा का पूरा लिस्ट और पूरा का पूरा ये चीज ना देके अलग से मेंशन कर दिया। ठीक है, तो इसमें मैंने दो इनपुट दिया उसको, एज कलर और लाइन विड्थ, एंड आई स्टोर्ड इट। नाउ हियर आई एम गोइंग टू यूज इट विद द parameter wedge props. Okay, now my own interpretation of this parameter name is wedges are like एक एक स्लाइस और हर वेज की प्रॉपर्टी। दैट्स माय इंटरप्रिटेशन, आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर आई एम करेक्ट और नॉट। सो हर उस वेज की प्रॉपर्टी, ठीक है। सो इस वेज प्रॉप्स नाम से जो पैरामीटर है टू द पाई फंक्शन, टू दैट आई हैव टू प्रोवाइड दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा, ये वाला। सो आई एम असाइनिंग दैट वेरिएबल हियर, राइट। स्टार्ट एंगल एक्चुअली स्टार्ट करने को उसको दे रहा है डायरेक्शन कि कहाँ से आप पहला स्लाइस बनाओ, तो 90 डिग्री, 180 डिग्रीज, 360 डिग्री, सो लाइक दैट। सो कहाँ से फर्स्ट एंगल शुरू करो आप, दैट इज ऑल्सो वन थिंग। सो स्टार्ट एंगल इज 90 डिग्रीज एंड ब्लैक टी इज माई फर्स्ट वन, सो इट इज स्टार्टिंग अप फ्रॉम हियर, ये वाला जो पोर्शन है 90 डिग्रीज वाला, सो यहाँ से इट इज स्टार्टिंग, राइट, एंड देन इट इज प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर। Second is the milk tea, ये वाला, next is this one, next is this one, like that. तो start angle is कि कहाँ से उसको लेना है पोर्शन को, that is it. And the next one is the explode. This is also another parameter. अब explode में अगर आप बहुत ध्यान से देखो, so there is this value 0.1 for the first input, and then the rest are zeros. So the rest zero values जो है, so तीन जो, I mean the later three values for the pi, they are sticking to the center, right? They're sticking to the center. And the first one, which is my black tea, is popping out. Popping out by how much? You can say by 0.1, I mean 1%. ठीक है, सो 1% से अगर 0.2 कर दोगे, 0.3 कर दोगे, तो और ज्यादा पीछे होता जाएगा, और ज्यादा एक्सप्लोड हो जाएगा। ठीक है, so that is how I'm going to mention it. So here you may have other slices also exploded from the main center point, right? So this is a set of values I'm giving for the explode, four slices. So four values, 1 2 3 4, जिसमें जो आपको सेंटर पॉइंट के साथ रखना है that you will mention a zero, जिसको आपको एक्सप्लोड कराना है, बाहर लेके जाना है, that value you will put as how much you want to take it out. So 0.1 0.2 0.3 will specify कितना आप उसको बाहर लेके जा रहे हो. So I've given 0.1, so थोड़ा सा हाईलाइट हो रहा है, वो बाहर जा रहा है. 0.2 0.3 will take it little more further. Okay, so my basic input for the pi function remains data and labels. Then comes the ones which I use for extra formats, which is one is explode, another is start angle. We had done in the previous two examples as colors, and one more is your wedge props, wedge properties, and there I assign a dictionary. Okay, am I making it somewhat clear to you? If I can see your thumbs up, that will be great.
Ma'am, so W is a dictionary.
W is a dictionary, correct. Like T is a list, data is a list, W is a dictionary. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Any other thing you want to ask? Because these are the variations we do. Basic, simple. See, now there are a lot of things which can be done, but that much time we are not getting. If you open your handbooks, they've not really explained so much and neither use so many examples. But I thought that practically we must learn as much as possible. So I've tried to include as much as possible. The rest is your exploration. As you work with your projects, as you work with your other things, you may have an idea and then you can explore कि और क्या parameters हम लोग ऐड कर सकते हैं इसके अंदर. There's a label parameter also. So यहाँ पे अलग से the explanation of the colors come like this, जिसको हम legend बोलते हैं, है ना? Legend, sorry, not name. So that also can be given. So these things are there, but the basic ones which I found that was interesting for you all to know, I thought I'll share. ठीक है? So that is what we have to do for our pie chart. Now moving further, the next one which we need to do is the scatter. ठीक है? Now, as a definition, if I tell you the scatter chart, it says it shows a relationship between two numerical variables. ठीक है? You people are all commerce students, you understand these things better than me. So it shows you two numerical variables का relationship. Now, I would say that then why not line chart? That is also showing a relationship between x and y. X में एक data projected है, y में एक data projected है, and the link between that only we are presenting. है ना? So line chart is also doing the same thing. Then why do I need a scatter chart? Now scatter chart में क्या हो जाता है? If I show you a few displays, you'll find that you can find a trend. Basically scatter को हम use करते हैं relationship show करने के लिए, where the data is big. Line chart में क्या है? Smaller set of data are represented. Okay, when the data are too many in number, then we go for a scatter chart because you are trying to majorly see a relationship between all the points, where you can see, which you can see here with these examples also. Like it's a linear relationship, strong and positive. Why strong and positive? Because they are bind together. Scattered, बहुत ज़्यादा scattering नहीं है वहाँ पे, है ना? Like I can give you a practical examples also. जब हम लोग weather forecast देखते हैं and you have the graphs. So there they use these kind of scatter charts to show you कि कहाँ पे concentration of rainfall ज़्यादा है. So in India के map के ऊपर if they show you the dots for जहाँ पे even the COVID cases, that you can correlate better. So वहाँ पे they would show कि deaths with a red dot and cases, active cases with a blue dot maybe. So there when you see the scatter chart, you will easily understand कि कहाँ पे वो concentration ज़्यादा है, कहाँ पे it is more scattered instead of being very, very too many of them at one point. And also outliers. Outliers means कि एक कोई point आ गया जो यहाँ पहुंच गया. So immediately you can make out from there कि यहाँ पे भी है. The major concentration is here, but यहाँ पे भी है ना? So outliers also we can find. That's a term we use for that. थोड़ा अलग से जो आ गया. That's my outlier. Right. So these are the kind of examples which will help you understand the importance of a scatter chart. Like I said, the pollution areas you want to see, or you want to see the concentration of colleges in a city. कौन सा पोर्शन है, नॉर्थ दिल्ली, वेस्ट दिल्ली, साउथ दिल्ली, ईस्ट दिल्ली, सेंट्रल दिल्ली, जहाँ पे सबसे मैक्सिमम कॉलेजेस हैं या सबसे मैक्सिमम कैफेज हैं या सबसे मैक्सिमम टूरिस्ट स्पॉट्स हैं. सो इस तरह का कुछ हमें दिखाना है. सो देन दीज स्कैटर चार्ट्स आर वेरी वेरी यूजफुल, है ना. ऐसा दे शो लाइक इन दिस एग्जाम्पल इफ यू सी, सो दिस इज नो रिलेशनशिप. कोई जैसे ये जो लीनियर एंड नेगेटिव, इफ द ग्राफ इज द स्कैटर इज कमिंग लाइक दिस, द लाइन बीइंग फॉर्म्ड इज लाइक समवॉट लाइक दिस, सो वील से इट्स अ नेगेटिव रिलेशनशिप. इफ इट इज लाइक दिस वी से अ पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप, कि जैसे जैसे एक्स बढ़ रहा है वैसे वैसे वाई भी बढ़ रहा है. इट्स अ पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप, डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल. ये वाला हो जाएगा इनवर्सली, ये बढ़ता जा रहा है, वो एक्स वाई घटता जा रहा है. So these things definitely we can see, and then when nothing of that sort is happening, then we say that there is no relationship as such, right? So these kind of things can be definitely presented. Moreover, I would give you examples where which we have been seeing, like just to find out where is the major concentration of things happening. That is what helps my presentation with the scatter chart. So line or scatter ka basic definition is same, relationship between two parameters, two values, one in x and one in y. But in this case, we are able to show certain other things also, जो इतना ज्यादा लाइन चार्ट नहीं शो कर पाता. ठीक है. सो दिस अ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द स्कैटर चार्ट. हमें इतना डिटेल में वैसे उस चीज को करना नहीं है. बट लाइक दिस वन आई एम सेइंग, यू कैन सी हियर फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर ग्राफ की दो क्लस्टर्स है. मेजर क्लस्टर्स आर दीज टू. यहाँ पे भी कुछ नहीं है, यहाँ पे भी कुछ नहीं है ना. सो इफ इट इज लाइक माई इंडियाज मैप एंड विद इन दिस आई एम सीइंग, आई वुड से कि थोड़ा सा नॉर्थ ईस्ट साइड में ज़्यादा है और थोड़ा सा साउथ वेस्ट साइड में ज़्यादा है. वेस्ट में कुछ भी नहीं है ना. Now these things I was talking about, these are my outliers. Major concentration in the central Delhi, और एक यहाँ पे एक्सट्रीम वेस्ट में दो है. ठीक है ना. So these kind of things we can point out with the help of scatter plots. Now we don't go any further as such, but we take very simple example, or because I'm using list, I cannot really type in so much of information also. Generally it will be applicable when you pick it up from existing files. अब वो हमने किया नहीं है कि हमने CSV से डेटा उठाया और उसको डेटा फ्रेम जैसे स्ट्रक्चर्स में डाला और फिर उसको यूज किया. वो हम करेंगे, वी डू इट इन 12th. अभी आई वांटेड टू कीप इट लिटिल सिंपल. Right. So in this case also you may find that there is as such no correlation, neither linear nor non-linear, neither positive nor negative. As such कुछ भी नहीं है. They are absolutely going in all directions types. ठीक है ना. So whatever, this was random data. I have not really tried to put anything significant here. But as such, I'm saying that we are doing it for a certain few set of values, so it doesn't really make it look like a scatter chart, but it is. Now again, the function name is very simple. I invoke it with the PLT, my alias name, and that is the scatter chart. उसको x का value चाहिए और y का value चाहिए, basic, right? Which will help me plot it, right? Now one more thing is that I may have, that I thought कि वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा illogical सा example था, so I took this one where I'm saying that population levels के साथ साथ how much is the CO2 लेवल. तो जहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन कम है वहाँ पे CO2 लेवल कम है. जहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन इन मिलियंस ज़्यादा है वहाँ पे वी फाइंड दैट द CO2 लेवल भी ज़्यादा है सर्टेन केसेस. ठीक है. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ अ रिलेशनशिप आई कैन शो similar to what we are trying to do actually. And the next one is the change of color. Okay. So this is, I don't even have to write COLOR as such. It is with C itself, I may use this parameter. So C is equal to red, all the dots will change its color from blue, which was the default one. Here it's using the a red color. ठीक है. So basic simple scatter chart wherein you are able to display the data in this format, and x-axis values, y-axis values, this is the compulsory part, and you may change the color with this particular option which I have highlighted. Show is important, as we know, in order to get it. Rest, none of the other formattings are used here. You may use that too. Right? So that completes to a great extent all the visualization chart modes which we required, all the chart types which are essentially required for a person to know. We have finished that. So data literacy part actually is over. Other than there's one more thing I want to tell you, which we left out in the last class. Okay. And then we'll start with the next unit today itself. Because coming Saturdays, there's some of the other thing in the school. I'm not sure whether how many classes I'll be able to take. So I really don't want to miss out on anything. Let me have the portions which I want to do. Like here, we had covered up everything. One thing which I found was missing last time was this training data and testing data. It's again a very, very important concept of artificial intelligence, that when you are developing a model, there are two categories. The entire data with which you create your AI model, you divide the data into two categories. इस division का भी एक rule है. We will study that in detail later. That is it half? Is it 20%, 80%? Is it 80%, 20%? Is it in separate blocks? So इसका भी एक rule है proper. Okay. But in general, we need to understand at this point, these are the two terms. One is the training data and one is the testing data. As such, the terms are very, very understandable words. The data with which I train the model, that's my training data, and the data with which I test it later to see how well it has been trained, that is my testing data. Okay. Of course, we would say that the training data and the testing data should never be same. Like जो मैथ्स के क्वेश्चन क्लास में कराए वही क्वेश्चन एग्जाम पेपर में एज इट इज नहीं देना चाहिए. बच्चे को कभी कभी आंसर रटा होता है. ठीक है ना? So that should not be the case. So what do? Is I train him with question number 1, 2, 3 of the book, and then for testing I give him question number 4 and 5. है ना? Easily understandable. क्योंकि अगर आप सेम डेटा के साथ ही टेस्ट करोगे तो ही इज ऑलरेडी योर मॉडल इज ऑलरेडी ट्रेन्ड फॉर दैट. ठीक है ना? तो वो उसका जो आउटपुट आ रहा है, यू रियली कांट जज कि उसने कितना उसको अप्लाई किया. अगर आप सेपरेट सेट ऑफ डेटा उसको दोगे, देन इट इज द बेस्ट वे टू एनालाइज दैट हाउ वेल you have trained your data. Okay. And talking about the modeling techniques, again we have to study this also in detail in the machine learning unit. Basically, if you remember, we have learned about in the first term supervised and unsupervised learning. Okay, and there we had just introduced or discussed a few things about classification regression, which is part of the supervised learning, and clustering, which is part of the unsupervised learning. Okay, now when we work with these classification problems, these are the models being used. They are just names for you as of now. We really don't know what they are, and I cannot explain to you in one go what they are. Though somebody who has studied AI in class 10th, they do understand accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score because this was there in the syllabus. And otherwise, it's okay. We'll have to study this separately also. These concepts are first learned, and the numericals based on that has to be done. So these are the evaluation techniques. अब आपने अगर बनाया है मॉडल को तो आप उसको इवेल्युएट भी करेंगे, टेस्टिंग भी करेंगे उसकी. सो उसके लिए कौन सा टेक्निक्स यूज होते हैं, that depends upon the type of AI model you have. Is it a classification model? Is it a regression model? Is it a clustering model? ठीक है, उसके according these techniques are defined, used. They are already defined. So like for the classification problem, these are the names which we have to do later. And for the regression problem, these are the ones which we have to do. Okay, as per your syllabus. The other ones are not as per your scope of syllabus, so I'm not referring to them. So these are the names or the terms which we have to be familiar with. for basic questionnaire also, maybe for Viva, maybe for MCQs and all, true, false, assertion, reasoning questions. So keep it in mind for classification problem, I go for these names and for regression problem, I go for these. ये क्या होता है हम लोग करेंगे ये चीज ठीक है so this was one thing which I wanted to refer as part of this chapter. Okay, so that completes it. I am closing for now and I'll start again as a fresh meeting with the next unit. Okay, you join quickly. Bye bye.